Most of Slovenia is landlocked, with the exception of a tiny sliver of land that stretches out to the Adriatic Sea. Called Slovenian Istria, there are three small coastal towns that dot this short but beautiful coastline: Koper, Izola and Piran. With a colorful main square, medieval walls, a bustling harbor and lots of great seafood restaurants to choose from, Piran is one of Slovenia's best small towns to visit. For 500 years, from 1283 to 1797, Piran was part of the Republic of Venice. After 1797, Piran bounced back and forth between Austrian, French and Italian rule, and in 1954 it became part of Yugoslavia. Since 1991, Piran is part of Slovenia. Until the mid-20th century, Italian was the official language. Much of the architecture and food in Piran have very strong Italian influences. If you look on a map, it is just a short drive to Trieste, Italy, and not much farther away is Venice. Tartini Square is the main square in Piran. It is named after Giuseppe Tartini, an Italian composer and violinist who was born here. On three sides, colorful buildings surround the square. The fourth side opens up to the harbor. Until the end of the 19th century, the square was filled with water, and this was part of the original port. In 1894, platforms were added and more buildings were constructed, forming the square as we see it today. If you climb up the hill behind Tartini Square, you most probably will arrive at the Church of St. George. Modeled after St. Mark's Cathedral in Venice, this church is a great spot to get unique views over Piran and the coast. From the yard that surrounds the church, you can look down at the small slivers of rocky beaches that surround the old town. Off in the distance, you can see the Italian and Croatian coastlines. For the best view of Piran, climb the bell tower, and your reward is a 360 degrees view over Piran, Slovenian Istria, Italy and Croatia. This tower is a great example of the Venetian influences on the architecture in Piran. The bell tower is a smaller scale copy of the San Marco in Venice. It is located at the Church of St. George. Another attraction of the city is the medieval wall. While Piran was part of the Republic of Venice, these fortifications were built to protect the town from Turkish invasions. These walls date back to the late 15th century. For another unique view over Piran, you can walk this short stretch of medieval walls. It is an uphill walk to get there, and it can be very hot in the summer months, but it's worth it for this view. One of the main attractions in Piran is the Old Town. The Old Town is a maze of narrow cobblestone lanes and colorful houses, especially in the area between Tartini Square and the end of the peninsula. No maps are needed, since it is small and compact. It won't take long until you pop out onto a beach or wind your way back to Tartini Square. The most popular item on the menus in Piran is seafood. Take your pick from a number of great restaurants in town. Piran is a popular day trip from Ljubljana. From here, you can take the public bus to get to PIRAN. It takes roughly 2.5 hours one way, and buses leave hourly. From Trieste, the public bus takes 1 hour. Having a rental car is the most convenient way to get around Slovenia and the Istrian Peninsula. Unless you are staying at a hotel that offers parking, you will not be able to park your rental car in town. There are two parking garages for visitors located outside of the old town: Garage Fornace and Garage Arze. Once a week during the high season, there is a ferry that connects PIRAN and Venice. At the edge of the old salt-making landscape, halfway between Isola and PIRAN, you can find a nature park that was named the Strunian Nature Park in 1990. Its typical flora and fauna give the park its authentic inspiration, which can be felt in every corner of the two nature reserves. Take a stroll along its alluring paths with beautiful views from the steep cliffs, which will lead you all the way to Portoroz, PIRAN or Isola. Refresh yourself by jumping into one of the remote bays with the cleanest water, or explore the cultural heritage of a place closely linked with the salt pans and the sea. Stiuza, the only Slovenian sea lagoon, is a special feature of the park. The natural resources of the seashore were perfect so that the inhabitants could construct salt pans with accumulations, channels, and shallow pools in this part of the Strunian Bay. In the period of the Republic of Venice, the extremely clear and white salt was important merchandise, and it is still produced in the traditional way today. The sea by the salt pans did not only create salt, but also a home to rare plants and animals, which are adapted to the very salty soil.